What's up, Capricorn? This is Jesse with 44 Astro with a new moon tarot reading for August 16th, 2023. It will be a new moon in Leo, 23 degrees Leo. It will occur at 5:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be in the 12th mansion of the moon, known as Al-Sarfa. I will put up a picture up here on the screen somewhere so you can kind of read about it. It's based off ancient Babylonian magic and the mansions of the moon. It goes all the way back to ancient Babylon, and it is what all magic is based off of today, based off those old grimoires, specifically one called the Picatrix. It's not the greatest mansion of the moon to be manifesting, at least for your own benefit. If you wanted to change your look and the way you're noticed, it's a good time. It's a good mansion for that. It's a good mansion for marriage or planning marriage, that type of thing, and growing crops. But people don't really grow crops anymore. Keep in mind, it's based off of an ancient grimoire. And pretty much everybody had to know how to grow crops in ancient times if they wanted to eat. You can read about it. I have a little bit up there. It's more of a malevolent house. It's more associated. The picture of it is associated with a man fighting a dragon. It's really about hurting other people's finances and causing divorce on people. So you don't really want to do any of that. But you can. I'll put the picture on the screen. You can read about it. I would have already done it by now. But this is a general tarot reading for Capricorn, new moon. Like I said, it is in Leo. It is a good time to be noticed, change your looks, that type of thing. Leo's sign's all about that. It's about speculative ventures. It's about expressing yourself uniquely. When I say speculative ventures, it could be about gambling, though I'm not promoting that. Most people, if you gamble, especially if you gamble in casinos, you're going to lose. Play lottery, you're probably going to lose. Probably. It doesn't mean that you will. I'm just saying the fifth house is associated with those types of things and kind of your mission in this world too, like what you're supposed to do in this world, your expression in this world. So we'll get you a Moonology card here, Capricorn. And I'm looking for more subscribers, likes, and comments. I mean, you don't have to, of course. If you're here watching, a view is good enough, even if it's just a few minutes. The demographics or the analytics suggest most people only watch 2 to 3 minutes of a video, which blows my mind. But hey, 2 or 3 minutes makes me happy. But if you would like to see more content, especially with astrology, esoteric studies, there it is, 2 of them, magic, those types of things, and I'll tie it all together with astrology because it is all based on astrology. It's all based on astrology, all magic, everything. Basically everything in our world, even our world religions are based off astrology, and I'll make some videos about that too if I can ever get this channel monetized. And to do that, I'm going to need at least 1,000 subscribers just to start to give me kind of a reason to, I'm saying conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse. And you've got, what do you need to release? This card's been coming up quite a bit. This is what do you need to release. And we are in a new moon, so you're going to have to release things if you want to start anew with anything. Conclusions are within reach, and what do you need to release? Well, we're about to find out. That card kind of wants to stand out a little bit. I do get a decent amount of Capricorn views, I think. My #1 video so far was actually a Virgo. It blew up last set of videos I did. I'm really grateful for that. I think I got quite a few subs out of that. I don't know how many Capricorn subs I have or viewers. I think I have a decent amount, and I'm grateful for that. And hopefully I can produce more content. Hopefully I can get some more subs, some more views. I'm not really sure how the algorithm works on YouTube. I did get quite a view. I got more views last go round of videos than I've had so far on a set of videos, so maybe I'll get more exposure. That'd be nice. So I can start cranking out more content and actually dedicating some time to the channel. I always have to take a day out of the week to do it. It takes me all day to do all these videos and edit them and everything. Ugh. Especially when you gotta do 12. It doesn't take a lot of editing right there, so I try to do it in one go, which can be tough. Sometimes I do it over a couple days. Today's a full go in one day. Well, got the Capricorn card right there in the middle, the devil. Completion of something, maybe. Okay, here's the bottom card if you care. I don't really care too much on these, but if sometimes it'll flavor the reading. It is the 7 of Swords. That would be being strategic, someone taking something from you, or you being strategic in a situation. This looks like maybe you're feeling chained down to something. in the general question here, or the current situation, you got the Devil, the World, and the Hermit. I mean, maybe you're someone that likes to keep to yourself, or like you're a person that really keeps quiet. Maybe you feel chained to a relationship. Maybe you want to be more social. Maybe you want to get out into the world more. Could be something like that. Something's got you feeling like you're stuck or chained to a situation. It could be vices. Maybe, maybe the question is about being stuck in a relationship. It could be something like gambling or drugs or alcohol, but that's generally normally not the case. I imagine that's the minority of people, not the majority. But if that's the case and your question is about that, then you probably know what the answer is already. If it's you're a person that likes to keep to yourself and you feel like that you're kind of trapped and lonely kind of a situation, because maybe, Capricorn cards right there, the Devil, maybe you feel alone and you want to get out in the world more, or you're trying to figure out a way to be out in the world more, be exposed more. Maybe you want more exposure for yourself, or you want to establish yourself in the world in some way. That's what it feels like. And the Devil's the Capricorn card. It's associated with that because the goat is associated with Capricorn, and the Baphomet is a goat. So they're associated in that manner. There's more to it than that, but I'm not going to go over all the occult and esoteric aspects of riding the goat, which is not necessarily what it sounds like, but it's kind of the mission of basically being above the material plane of existence, rising above the material aspect of life. That's what the sign of Capricorn is really all about, hard work. And it is hard work to be able to do that in an individual. It's really kind of a spiritual mission. A lot of people don't know that, because Capricorns are very material driven, because they're earth signs, and they're Capricorn's about prestige, finding your place in the world, accomplishment, hard work. That's what Saturn's all about. And make no mistake, Saturn is the greatest significator of wealth. So with this, the current path you're on, you have the Four of Rods with the Nine of Swords and the Page of Swords. Yeah, it's like you're having some kind of maybe you're even having bad dreams about it, or you're dreaming about a happy home, or your thoughts, your thoughts about it, your thoughts about trying to be. Maybe you're really how do I establish myself in the world? How do I, maybe you're just looking for a happy home, a stable home. You're trying to figure out how to accomplish it. You're really you're really worried about it. You really want to have that family and that kind of life. Or maybe, like I said, it's establishing yourself in the world. It's it's a message about that, or this is the way you're thinking about it, more likely. I think with the Page of Swords, it's the way you're thinking about it. You're thinking about this a lot. You want this stability, this happy home, this celebration. It could be you want people to celebrate you, rejoice about you, that type of thing, accomplishment. You're really racking your brain on how to do it. And right now you feel kind of like you're just a slave to your current situation or the current area of the world, whether you're feeling like a hermit, you're feeling you don't feel exposed enough. And it can be like that. Some people want to be exposed out in the world. Some people don't. Some people are hermits. They want to be hermits. Some people are hermits and don't want to be hermits. So it just depends. Depends on the situation. This is the other path you can choose, and this is fated, so you're going this way whether you like it or not. Even this path over here will lead to this. You have movement and stability right here with the Queen of Pentacles. It could be that Queen of Pentacles is you. It's a very strong possibility the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn. And it's movement. It's the wheels turning. And it's movement forward. We're going to have to get clarity on that. But it's your destiny. And I think that's what you're after, right? You're after your destiny, your place in this world. Finding that which you want to nurture. And something that it's really valuable and you can care about and present to the world. You know what I mean? That your way of being of service to this world that we live in. And that's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to become solar. We're trying to go from lunar to solar, from taking things in and reflecting upon them and learning and molding our inner world so that we can be in such a state to where we can begin to project outwardly like the sun and give out our rays of wisdom and light. And that's the mission. It's all astrology from top to bottom, making no mistake. This is the advice. It's got love in it. You got 2 2s here. 3 2s. 2 2 2. Ooh, master builder numbers. You got 2 2 2. At the High Priestess, you got the Two of Cups, you got the Two of Rods. So I would suggest that's more about the 222 necessarily than the actual cards, but we can look at the cards and kind of try to divine a meaning from it. 222 has to do with building things, creating something that you created, being a master builder. That's what the twos are all about. It's all about balance, diplomacy, those types of things. So, and maybe that's what you're trying to build, right? You're trying to build up like this. What this will do, right? I was talking about riding the goat. The mission of Capricorn is to be able to overcome that which is the material world. You have to understand it and dive into it to such a degree and immerse yourself in it that you realize it's not the way and be completely above it. Riding the goat representing Capricorn, but the lower aspect of Capricorn, being the individual sitting on top of it, riding the goat, because the material world is in itself beneath you. If you ever heard of Alan Watts, he's a Capricorn. He's a Zen Buddhist. He's passed on. But you ever look up Alan Watts? He's a good example of a Capricorn that was riding the goat. He went a little loony in his later years, but he was a Zen master. He really understood philosophy and Buddhism really well. Not that you need to be a Buddhist or anything like that, but it's about being above the material aspect of things. And I think that's what you're trying to build. You're trying to build higher intuition, higher love, a better world for yourself and anyone else that you can bring along with you. He's holding the world in his hand there. He has it all. And I feel like you're building and waiting for that. That's what you're building. 222. You're building love. You're building creation, really, right? You're building your own world in your way, in the way you want it. And building your spiritual life and your spiritual connection to the other side. Outcome. You have the alchemy card here. Balance. Knight of Rods. It's more movement and more creation. You have two alchemy cards right there saying this is about your creation, right? And I told you, and even with me just throwing, intuitively throwing out the mission of Capricorn, riding the goat, right? It's being above the material plane. In order to do that, you have to kind of master certain aspects of it. You have to build it in a certain way to where you can kind of put it in its place and see what it is and be above it. And when you're above it, you can make it what you want because you're beyond it. So you can manifest it in whatever way you want. You understand the energies and the way things work so well. You can just create whatever you want in whatever way that you want. It's about heavy manifestation and moving toward that. Passionately, quickly even. You got to ride the goat. You got to get above this. If you can lose your attachment, all that attachment to the material world and what you want to accomplish in it and how you want to accomplish it, you'd be surprised how it all just kind of bends to your will. And that's what Capricorn's mission is. Capricorn in its base is all about hard work, accomplishment, prestige, recognition, being awarded, those types of things. But in its highest state, it's about releasing all of that. Even if you have it, doesn't even matter. Knowing that it doesn't even matter, and that's not really what it was ever about. It was more about what you were able to give through those accomplishments to the world. And if you can see it that way, what you create, you can give to the world. Look, he's handing the world. Giving what you create to the world. Capricorns are fascinating to me. There's so many Capricorns that have accomplished great, great things. Albert Pike, one of the most renowned Freemasons, he was a Capricorn. Was he Capricorn or Aquarius? I have to look. I think pretty sure he's a Capricorn. I'm almost positive he's a Capricorn. Alan Watts was a Capricorn. There's a lot of just Capricorns that accomplish amazing things, especially in spirituality. It's really odd because, they're earth signs and you wouldn't really think so much, but there are a lot of Capricorns that have accomplished great spiritual feats and are great teachers, masters even. Alan Watts is one example. I'm sure there's many more. I'm just not thinking of them right now. Been a long day for me. But yeah, let's do some clarifiers. But it looks like you're creating whatever you want. Just rise above it all. See it for what it really is. Don't let it be about your own prestige and your own accomplishments be your drive. Be about what you're going to give. Be that and let that be the focus of why you're doing what you're doing. What you're going to leave behind. The devil on the devil. Go figure. Another Capricorn, you got the devil again. In this deck, it's more about the generative principle of things. which some don't realize that the big G in Freemasonry is, some say it's geometry, some say it's God. The octave G, which represents energy over matter, and the generative principle, the G, generative, which is creation. And then this deck, it's more, the goat is more about, and he's more of a goat in this one, by the way, if you look at him. If we can actually get it to focus. And you got the Eight of Pentacles, which is prudence, which is working hard, sticking with it. And then this deck, science, which would be breaking things down, picking them apart, dissecting them, and putting them back together so that you understand them thoroughly. And I think you need to understand yourself, Capricorn. That's the work you're doing. You're evolving yourself. You got to ride the goat. You got to understand the goat so that you can ride the goat. Then you can move on to the next stage, which is giving it to the world, which is what Aquarius is all about. Yourself within the collective and what you can do within it, your identity within the collective, and being able to give it back. And that's also a higher part of Aquarius. The lower part of Aquarians are like different for the sake of different, a contrarian. Like you just see people, they're dyeing their hair different colors and stand out. And you see all kind of people doing that now because we're in the age of Aquarius. But Aquarians are all about trying to stand out. And sometimes in the lower aspects can be contrarians or just jumping to a cause, revolution, just so they can be different. And that's why you see all these movements going this way and that and all over the place and everything in between. Because we're at the very beginnings of the age of Aquarius. So you're seeing a lot of the lower energies manifest in that way. In the next 1,000 years or so, we'll see the higher manifestation, which is pure service. Sadly, we won't live that long to see that. Hopefully we get to see a little bit of it in our time. And I think a little bit of it is trying to shine through. And that's the reason these things are happening in the way they are. People are trying to be different for the sake of being different, jumping on revolution just for the sake of change and attention to a specific cause, because intuitively, unconsciously, they're trying to get to that, but it's unconscious. So until we're conscious of it collectively, it'd be hard to reach that. But anyway, back to you, Capricorn. Less about the Aquarius. Unless you have Aquarius in your chart, hopefully that resonates for you. I can go off on a tangent because I know a lot about astrology. I've forgotten more astrology than most people know. One of these videos, I'll show you how many books I've read on astrology. I've got a single entire bookshelf just dedicated to astrology. And part of another one. And I got a bunch of books sitting right behind me right here on my desk. I got books in my Bronco that are astrology. I've studied a long time. I got books on tarot too. Just a couple of them, and those are the ones that Jodorowsky's involved with. Alejandro Jodorowsky. I kind of want to see what's on your mind up here. If I can get a stop. Oh, there we go. It's like some kind of quick communications that came to you that may have upset you in some way. Or the way you're thinking about things in some way. Whatever you're doing, you're not feeling necessarily passionate about or fulfilled, I don't think. Like I said, maybe you are making accomplishments and succeeding, but it doesn't feel like it's what you want, or it doesn't feel like it's leading you to what you want. You know, you got the Eight of Rods, which is the Lord of Swiftness, which is generally quick communication or something moving fast. The Knight of Swords, the fastest moving. I mean, you see blazes going by him. He's moving as fast as the birds are in this card. There's 3 birds beside him. He's going faster than they are on a horse, and he's got wings. So that's like super fast movement, right? And or communication as well. So like communication coming to you, and like, or the way you're thinking about it and not feeling passionate about it, or communication about something that's passionate or from a fire sign, and it upset you in some way or confused you in some way. But I think it's the way you're thinking about things. I think you're thinking in a specific way. And I think your objective is to try to like alter it. Like I said, you got to ride the goat. Those who've studied the occult would know what I'm talking about when I say ride the goat. I mean, I explained kind of what it is, but I didn't really go into it. Maybe one video. I mean, I'll eventually, if I ever get this channel monetized, I'll make a video on Capricorn specifically and what the mission is in the zodiac for that specific sign. But even though you're not just one sign, right? There's so much more that goes on in a natal chart. Your moon and your ascendant. Not only that, you want to see your aspects. And aspects are the most important thing. The aspects and what houses they're in. That's going to determine a lot. Especially conjunctions and squares. And then oppositions. Then you want to look at the ones that are the beneficial ones, because everybody wants to look at the beneficial ones, but those aren't the ones those aren't the ones that's going to create the friction in your life that's going to force you to accomplish things. You want the stuff that's creating friction, because it's going to motivate you to get something done. If everything's all easy, then you're not going to do much. Just the way it works. If you get comfortable and you don't have to do anything, probably not gonna. It's the nature of people. Okay, what do we want to clarify next? Clarify the Wheel of Fortune. Kind of see what we're talking about over here with this movement. I mean, it's faded over here. So it's a lot of movement forward. Like the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Swords with the 8, it's all movement forward. So it feels like it's just, so maybe your thoughts are moving really fast, or you're transforming yourself in a way to move forward a lot faster, accomplish more. I mean, Capricorn's all about work, so you may be just like, I'm working harder, I'm working harder, I'm working harder. But be careful, you'll drive yourself crazy with that. That's why the Nine of Swords is there. You overthink. If you overdo, you'll exhaust yourself. Capricorn, no sign can work like a Capricorn. That's the truth. Sign represents work in and of itself. Yeah, see, more work over here. You have clarity on something. The Wheel of Fortune is like, yeah, maybe you're working way too hard and thinking way too hard. Thinking maybe you're going to come to a new perspective about why you work and how you work. Got the Ace of Swords there, which is clarity. You're feeling oppressed and defeated, but you're gaining clarity. I think through all this hard work, like you either not getting the results that you thought you deserved or not getting the recognition that you thought, you're realizing that maybe it's not all about the work for the sake of the work, and maybe it's not all about the work for the sake of your own gain. Maybe it's about what you're going to give to the world. Rising above and doing it for the sake of the world. You're offering the world to people here. And you're going to get some kind of clarity, maybe some kind of enlightenment. Maybe you gain just a clear light. The light comes on with the Hermit here. It's like bing. And you realize, hey, I'm going to do things this way from now on. And I'm going to do it for what I can give back, not just what I can give to myself. Maybe you're a person of means and you're like, hey, I'm going to give back what I can, even if you're not. You're just giving back what you can in what way that you can. And then that in and of itself, releasing and giving up of yourself like that, that's where all the accomplishment comes in. But it's tricky, right? Because if I tell you this message and you think of it that way, and then subtly in your unconscious mind, you're still doing it, you're starting to serve, but you're still doing it in the hopes of the accomplishment, it may backfire. So you really need to like rise above it. Capricorns are good at that. Capricorns are really good about not being overly emotional with things and like seeing things for what they are, what they can be. Clarity, as it were. You got the Ace of Swords right there, clarity. And I think that's what you're doing. You're unburdening yourself. You're feeling chained to work, I think, overworking, because you want to accomplish so much and you're working your butt off. And it's time not to feel chained anymore. Go inside. Find your enlightenment. And you'll have the world. It'll all be offered to you. There's no doubt about it. I'm kind of curious about the 222s down here. What you're trying to build is wealth. No doubt about that. But you got the Tower on one side. Yeah, it's like if you want your wealth, you got to break it all down, man. Or female. I always say man just in general. It's like a figure of speech, but man or woman. And 84% of my viewers are women, so most likely you're a lady. You're trying to build wealth. That's what the 222 is, this wealth right here. That's the wealth card. You're trying to build wealth, but you have to break everything down. And this is debauchery, right? You have to break down your attachment to the material realm. You have to break it all down first. Not wealth for the sake of wealth. Wealth for the sake of others. Accomplishment for the sake of others. I mean, that's why we're here. Service. It might be a rough message to hear. But you'll get your wealth. That's what you're trying to build, is the wealth. You're trying to have it all. You want to be established. You want to be recognized. You want to be revered. But there are steps that have to be taken. You have to ride the goat. I'm telling you. I promise you. Do it for service. And you'll be surprised how the results end up being your own personal acclaim. Like people like Albert Pike, for example. I mean, his book, Morals and Dogma, is standard issue. Let's just say that. And revered. He is a revered man. He created the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. All right? Albert Pike is quite a wise man. If you decide to ever pick up that book, you have to read it. You have to read multiple times. Like, you have to read pages multiple times just to kind of get the meaning. The man's intellect is terrifying. He's up there with, like, Carl Jung, Karl Marx, people like that are just, their intellect is insane. Yeah, you have to end it. Yeah, for what you're trying to create down here, what you're trying to move toward. You know, you got a Princess of Cups and a Queen of Wands and the Ten of Swords, which is ruin, which is just an ending, right? So you're trying to end it. You're trying to end something, to build something new. Think it, and you know, it's swords, so it's in your mind, the way you think about things, but it's also your emotions, because it's the Princess of Cups, and what you're actually passionate about. And it's hard to not be who you are, right? Like, if your passion is that you want to accomplish, then accomplish. And you may very well accomplish and be renowned for it. There are many Capricorns, like LeBron James, Jeff Bezos, many Capricorns that have accomplished great things, and they're recognized. And I promise you that their objective was their own self-grandification. So it's fine. And they did it. And you can do the same. But that's not actually what Capricorn's all about. The hard work is part of it, for sure, right? But it's being able to, a lot of times, to be able to get to the point where you can rise above it, you have to go through it. And that may be also what this is saying. You have to go through it to recognize that. And I think along the way, you're going to have that transformation through all of your hard work. You're going to come to the conclusion that it was never really about your own gratification, your own legacy, that maybe it was about more than that, and maybe it was about more about what you leave behind. Yeah. So what it's worth, Capricorn, ride the goat. I think you're well on your way anyway. I think you're working hard, no doubt about it. You're trying to find your place in the world, and I think your advice is to offer it to the world. You need to offer everyone the world, this world that you're going to be able to build, this great great power that you have, or these great accomplishments that you accomplish. It needs to be about, it needs to be about not just yourself, but everyone. But anyway, I hope that resonates in some way. Consider liking and subscribing, leaving a comment. I don't know how many Capricorn viewers I really have that are consistent, or how many subscribers. I know I have some. I generally get some views on Capricorn, which is nice, and I'm grateful for that. If you don't want to like and subscribe, you don't have to. Please consider watching your other videos. I'm just grateful for the view anyway. But yeah, ride the goat. Happy new moon and happy August. I wish you the best.